Hello, and welcome to episode number 3 of Open Dialogue. I am Becca,
And I'm Anna.
and we are to tell you here, if I could speak, to tell you how beautiful you are today.
She's just tripping over her words because of how beautiful you all are.
Okay, so today we're gonna have some interesting topics, and one of which is a secret topic that Anna does not know about. I am about to sneeze.
So just so you guys know, we've decided we're going to do secret topics throughout the year, just kind of depending on like what season we're in and those kinds of things. But essentially a secret topic can be anything that either one of us wants to talk about. It can be completely unrelated to the month we're in or anything, really. It can be literally anything we want it to be. But the whole secret part of it is, of course, the other person has no idea what it's going to be. So that is kind of what I have in store today. So I'm very excited to hear about this secret topic.
Yes. Okay, so first and foremost, we are going to be covering some iconic copycat killers.
Yep.
Unalivers.
Unalivers. Yeah, that's the correct way to say that, I guess.
Yeah. So I think Anna's gonna get started.
Yeah.
You have 2, right?
I do have 2.
Okay, and
I got a
only have
little
one,
excited.
and then my secret topic. So let's go. Let's do this.
Okay. So this one, I don't know if you read this one or not in the notes. So we're familiar with sudden cardiac death, right?
Yes.
Or, the premise of it.
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about that for a second, just so we kind of get a good baseline of what we're going to be talking about. So, sudden cardiac death is the leading cause of mortality in the world. Just some stats for you people that like stats out there. About 15 to 20% of it is due to coronary heart disease. And that is thought to be the main underlying cause of sudden cardiac death. So, that's going to matter a little bit later on. So keep that in mind. Usually when we have sudden cardiac death, essentially is what I'm saying there, is that we are able to determine what happened based on anatomical and physiological changes within the heart. Okay. So now we're going to rewind a little bit. So there is something within the category of sudden cardiac death called sudden unexplained nocturnal death syndrome. So it's a mouthful, right? We can call it SUNS for short.
Okay.
All right. So this has kind of happened throughout the years. I believe the first recorded evidence of this, yes, was in 1917 in the Philippines. But the specific accounts and situation that I'm going to be talking about today happened in the 1980s. So, what happened else in the 1980s? There's
the AIDS epidemic.
Okay, no. Oh, goodness, no.
What?
We went too far off the deep end. I'm talking about people dying in their sleep. People afraid to go to sleep. What serial killer, what famous pop culture horror guy makes people afraid to sleep?
The boogeyman.
Oh my god. Well, hopefully one of you guys understood that. But I'm talking about the one, the only Freddy Krueger.
Freddy!
Because he haunts your dreams.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest here. I never watched it. I know, and I love horror movies. I've never watched the movies.
So the only thing I've learned from this is that we can't be friends anymore.
Oh.
Because Freddy Krueger is by far my favorite of the OG unalivers. So that really hurts my soul.
Oh, well, we'll have to remedy that.
Yeah. We're going to have to. Okay, so let's get back to it since my soul has been crushed. Maybe we can crush some dreams while we're at it. So, okay, in the 1980s, there were approximately 117 men of the Hmong ethnic group, ages 20 to 30, that had died in their sleep, seemingly unexplainably. So, just a little background on the group as well. Most of these individuals were a minority group from Laos. They allied with the United States during the Vietnam War. After the war concluded in 1975, they were considered enemies by Vietnam at that point because Vietnam was communist after the Vietnam War. So communism in America, as we've learned, don't get along too well. Mm-hmm. So these individuals that had allied with us are now considered enemies by the homeland that they grew up in. So they have to now seek refuge. Most of them went to the US or Thailand. So in the 80s, we've got this like massive influx of people coming in from Vietnam, and I think, yes, and Cambodia. We had a bunch of people coming in from Cambodia as well. They sought refuge mostly in like the northwestern, yes, yeah, up in like the Washington, Oregon, California area over on the West Coast. So in 1977, I am going to possibly butcher this name, and I do apologize in advance for that. This person's name was Lai Dawa. Dawa. Um, he passed away in 1977. They weren't really sure what happened. Mm-hmm. They took him in. They did an autopsy. Autopsy showed nothing. So they chalked his death up to, quote, acute cardiac insufficiency, which is just a really vague term to be like, I don't know, your heart stopped working.
Yeah, it just stopped.
Exactly. And then fast forward a little bit, and another individual in Seattle fell ill. He was lucky enough to be rushed to the ER. They got him into the ER, and he was in ventricular fibrillation. So if you don't know what that is, that means your ventricles, which are the larger chambers of your heart, are just fluttering. Yeah. So they're just kind of doing this instead of good, strong contractions.
Right.
And your heart is kind of on an electrical frenzy. It's not working correctly, of course. And because your ventricles are the main part of the heart that really pump the blood all the way through the body, mm-hmm. your blood's not pumping at that point. So you're not getting blood, you're not getting nutrients, you're not getting oxygen to your body. So that's a very, very bad, very lethal rhythm to fall into.
You have no circulation whatsoever.
Yes. So when they got there to the ER, they got him stabilized over the next few weeks. His rhythm became normal. So his cardiac rhythm became normal, but not for a normal, healthy individual. This was a normal rhythm that they were seeing on the ECG that would be expected of somebody who suffered a heart attack in the past. Which means he had a really significant amount of damage that was done to his heart. So this kind of worried the doctors, of course. So they decided to go in and do some surgical exploration to make sure that he doesn't need like a stent or a catheter or something like that to help him maintain a more normal lifestyle. And when they did that surgical intervention, they didn't find anything. There was nothing wrong with his heart as far as they could tell, but his ECG was strange.
Wow.
So they didn't really do much about it after that. They just kind of sewed him back up and was like, sorry. But if any of you out there know more about that story, I would absolutely love to hear more about it. That's as much as I could find on the internet from reliable sources. So those were a couple of more specific instances of when this happened.
Okay.
And then for just kind of in general how this was happening for these people, So this is, like I said, primarily young males, 20 to 30 years old, immigrants from other countries. And the percentage of immigrants of the exact same ethnicities of the individuals who were born and raised in America, so non-immigrants, there was a much higher prevalence of the SUNS, the sudden unexplained nocturnal death syndrome, was at a much higher prevalence in these individuals who were immigrants to America as opposed to the ones in the same ethnic group that were not immigrants. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So for some reason, something is happening causing specifically the immigrants to America to experience this. And they have no idea why.
And it's just of the Hmong ethnicity.
Ethnicity, yeah. So there were a few of them, but like a
right?
main, yeah. So in all honesty, I looked up a lot of these pronunciations because I find it quite embarrassing to say things wrong. Not because you can't pronounce things properly, but because I feel like I should know better. Like if I'm gonna do a story over something that I don't know the pronunciation of, I feel like it's only respectful to like try to figure it out. Does that make sense?
You. I didn't do that.
Yes. So, okay. So, I also I still don't say a lot of things right. So just, y'all bear with me. I do my best, but I say things weird as is for normal words that I use every day.
Absolutely.
So I just got very off topic.
Sorry. You were right at.
Yes, so it was the immigrants.
Yes.
Thanks, friend.
You're welcome.
So there were a lot of people who were assuming that it was like a nerve gas or a tear gas that they were using in the Vietnam War that was causing this because it was all immigrants. So a lot of people were like, yeah, they're having all kinds of issues because of the nerve gas and all the chemicals that they were exposed to during war. Recently and soon after that allegation was made, that was pretty well debunked. So they're thinking that the main cause of this is individuals who are under a lot of stress at low paying jobs and underappreciated. And if we think about it, that's exactly what happened to these individuals. They were doing what they thought was best. They allied with the US. Suddenly, they no longer had a home in the country where they and their families had lived for centuries, possibly. But definitely generations of their family had grown up here. Suddenly, they're not welcome anymore and they have to leave. They come to a country who, while we did welcome them, it maybe wasn't under the most equal terms that we did. So they're in a new country. They have no idea what's going on. They take the jobs that they can get, which are going to be very hard manual labor.
Right.
Back before unions were really prevalent in the US. And so they were extremely overworked, extremely underpaid. They had the stress of completely uprooting their lives. And just in normal day to day, people have heart complications due to extreme amounts of stress, lack of sleep, those types of things. And that is the exact same thing that these people were experiencing. For different countries, this disease or this syndrome, I guess is a better way to put that, has different names. And I thought it was really interesting the way that it's referred to in other countries and what that term actually means. So in America, it's SUNS, sudden unexplained nocturnal death syndrome. That's pretty straightforward. In Thailand, it's called or referred to as Lai Tai, which means a loud groan during sleep or a loud noise made while frightened.
Okay.
In the Philippines, and I am going to do my best to pronounce this one, it is called Banunat. It is a word of the Tagalog people that means to rise and moan in sleep. And in Japan, it is referred to as pokuri, which means suddenly or unexpectedly, and unexpectedly ceased phenomena. So it's seen throughout the world.
Mm-hmm.
They just had a really massive uproar of it here in America to the point where the CDC got involved,
Oh.
because there were so many people of the same ethnicity in the same part of the world that were passing from this like really strange unexplained thing. So yeah, the CDC did get involved with this, which is the only reason it became as big of a deal as it was. So all of that being said, uh where is, I don't want to say this the wrong way, so I want to find my notes for it. And I went so off script from my notes.
It's okay. It's better that way, you know. While you're finding that, something that came across my mind with this is heartbreak syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
It really sounds like um that could be what it is as well.
Mm-hmm.
But once your body, because you know, if you've done any type of research on psychology or the brain and how it works when you sleep, um, it's kind of like you dream. Like you have a conversation about something or you're thinking about something, and then you have a dream that's related to it.
Mm-hmm.
Your self-conscious just kind of takes over,
Yeah.
and you know you're completely banished, and you're in a completely foreign place from anything you've ever known.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, home is something that is very near and dear
Yeah.
to your heart. I feel
Exactly.
like maybe that has something to do with the heart attacks, because your heart is broken, but this is happening when you're sleeping or maybe as you're falling asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Your brain just is like, okay, we're done. You know,
Yeah.
they just kind of like correspond with each other. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, so that's the part that I was going to kind of build off of, which is the
Really? Oh
reason I
my
kind of
gosh.
went, yes, which is the reason I kind of went into the way it's referred to in other countries.
Mm-hmm.
So most of these, I couldn't find my notes for it, but it's in my noggin. It just might not be as clear as I was hoping for it to be. But a lot of these deaths would happen between the hours of 12 a.m. and 4 a.m. So it would be like in the middle of the night, like kind of in the middle of your sleep period. And these individuals, it was stated in multiple different accounts in slightly different ways every time, but essentially what was happening was these people would sit up in bed. They would make a bit of like a moan or a groan sound. With some people, stated that they heard their loved ones making like gurgling sounds or letting out a bit of like a yell beforehand and then collapsing and not getting back up from that.
Mm-hmm.
So these people are literally waking up from the depths of sleep in
Yeah.
some sort of
Distress.
distress with a very abnormal heart rhythm and then not ever having a chance to come out of it. They pass at home, which
Mm-hmm.
if any of you know what ventricular fibrillation is, you know it's extraordinarily dangerous and it a lot of times, if there is no medical intervention, most of the time it will lead to death
Yeah.
very quickly too.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah. So, there is a quote that I was going to read, and y'all might give me crap for this, but you betcha I got some of my information from Wikipedia's.
Oh my gosh.
None of y'all be my middle school or high school teachers, so I don't have to explain anything. Anyway, so it says, quote, most victims were men in their 30s and served as the primary income earner of their families by engaging in heavy physical labors but earning low salaries. These are all indications that maladjustment to a new environment, separation from family, overwork, low income, and other psychology and socioeconomic problems may be potential risk factors for underlying sons. So that really just kind of wraps up the whole thing of these men were, or families really, were uprooted from their lives, but the men specifically were still expected to go out, make a living for their family, which the women didn't really have the same opportunities as the men did. Not that they really had great opportunities to begin with. So they've got the stress of being probably the sole earner of the family, and they have to keep everything going.
Yeah.
And I mean, I am not the sole income of my family, but my goodness, is it stressful sometimes. So I can only imagine.
You have been, though, before.
For a very short period of time, mind you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. So that kind of wraps it up. But that's how Freddy Krueger, the idea of Freddy Krueger came around, is because of this unfortunate circumstance where all of these people were losing their lives due to external factors, whatever they may be. The creator of Freddy Krueger, and I don't know his name. Nobody accost me. I am so sorry. But he took inspiration from this situation, which I'm sure you can all see. Like, people are afraid to go to sleep, and that happened in this community. Like, people were starting to be afraid to go to sleep,
and that causes more stress.
Exactly, which makes it worse.
Yeah.
And then to everybody on the outside, especially when you don't really know what's going on, to everyone on the outside, like, your loved one goes to sleep, they seemingly get attacked in their dream, in a dream state, and then they never wake up again.
Yeah.
So that's the good old Freddy Krueger.
The Freddy's.
The Freddy Krueger.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I just had a history lesson.
You're welcome. All right, hit me.
Okay. So, my story is a copycat, but it's not like a horror movie. It is a television show. Dexter.
I feel like I get really good payback right now because I've also never watched Dexter.
It takes a couple episodes to get into it to be able to like recognize the character and understand that his like weird self is really intriguing. But anyways, it's the show Dexter is about a character named Dexter, of course.
Great. Fantastic.
And he is a blood spatter analyst for Miami Metro Police Department. So he's in the homicide side. Sorry. He's in the homicide department. And he looks at all the blood splatters and he can tell like how tall someone was, if they got shot or, you know, hurt by the blood splatters.
You ain't getting past that guy.
And the blood
puddles. He's gonna get you. He's gonna splatter you.
Yeah. So, but on top of that, he is a serial killer. Love that. Yeah. So he uses his job pretty much as a way to be able to do these things. And to know what's going on in the department, if he's like being seen somehow, you know, like it's really good. It's really good. So there was this person named Mark Twitchell. Okay. He's from Canada.
He sounds like a serial killer.
Yes. Mark Twitchell was, and it's like, it's funny. We'll have to insert a picture of him.
Oh, for sure. Let's do it.
And then do like a side-by-side with the character Dexter because they get like the same look in their eye. Like it's kind of creepy.
So the inspiration was hard.
Dexter. It was
They did it.
Yeah, like to the point like he like made a Facebook profile as Dexter Morgan.
The real
Which
dude did? Mark did?
Mark Twitchell
Oh.
made a Facebook profile, Dexter Morgan, which is the character. So he's called the Dexter Killer.
All right. Okay.
Okay. Anyways. Are
you hungry?
Dude, I'm so hungry. My tummy is speaking. I already said all that. I'm sorry. So he, like I said, he was a huge fan, but he was like obsessed. Okay. But he was also a like filmmaker. Okay. So
the real guy, Mark, was
Mark Twitchell. Okay. Yes. He was born in Edmonton, Canada on July 4th, 1979. So
he was serving people independence from their life.
Yeah, absolutely. But like the thing is that he's not a serial killer.
Oh.
He is not a serial killer. He didn't get to get that far.
Oh, well,
but
that's good.
Inspired to be
good.
A serial killer.
Okay. He was a failure then.
Yes, an aspire, and he had like one film that made it in the Star Wars community.
Okay.
It was kind of like a remake, like a little spoof thing. I didn't go into a lot of detail on that or anything, like on my research, because it didn't look great.
Okay, cool. That's okay.
So he only claimed one victim, and one other got away.
That's one too many. That he claimed, not the one that got away. Kudos to you. That's awesome.
Right. So he did not make it. So Mark lured his victims to a garage that he rented to use as like a little filming area.
That's creepy.
Yeah. So he created a fake dating You hear my stomach? It keeps speaking. He created a fake dating profile.
Okay. This is why the internet is dangerous, kids.
Yeah.
Don't trust strangers.
And he would pretty much catfish, pretending that he was a woman, luring men in.
When did this happen? What year was this? I'm assuming it was recent because we're doing online dating.
Yeah, it was like it was like 2008.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Anyways, so he would lure these guys in. He would invite them to the garage, and his first go was not successful because he did not plan it. He literally just winged it. God. Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad. So when he wouldn't give an address. He would only give direct directions from where that person was. Okay.
That's creepy. That's a red flag.
Yeah, and he would say, just come in through the garage.
Don't mind all the plastic and dried blood.
And he would have it like cracked so that you would like, so you would like duck down and go inside.
Hell no.
Okay, and then the guy that got away, his name, see, you did your research. Only his last name is known, and it's Tetril. There's a T at the end. I don't know. I'm sorry, friend. So the guy that got away, we're going to call him that. He was attacked from behind, and at first, like, he didn't know what was going on. He was like, what's happening? And when he looked back, there was a man hovering over him with a ski mask on.
So he's trying to be like all the bad guys in one. You can't be
Well,
Jason too.
it's like a hockey mask.
Oh, like one of those you pull, like a fabric one. Oops.
No, it was a hockey mask. And like you can look it up online, and he like spray painted it gold. It was weird. I don't know. So he was whatever. He realized right away that this was not a date.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yep. And Twitchell had his mask on and a gun.
Okay.
Okay. But it turns out the gun was not real. It was fake. So when just wait. When he realized that it was a plastic gun, he tried to take his chance. He was just like trying to fight back.
For sure.
And he finally got away. He crawled out from underneath the garage door and got up and immediately fell down. Turns out he was zapped with a stun gun.
Yeah.
And so he like lost the all of the work. He stopped working.
The workage stopped.
Okay. And immediately, this is like creepy. He grabbed his legs and dragged him back underneath
How
the
Hollywood
door.
Holy cow.
Yes. Oh gosh. Anyways, so he managed to get away again and like crawl to get to his truck, and he went away. So he got away.
So this is the guy that survived.
This is the guy that survived.
Okay.
And he did not go to the police. He didn't tell anybody about it because he was embarrassed.
Exactly. That's how that happened.
He was catfished essentially, but that wasn't like a thing back then.
It wasn't quite turned yet.
Yeah. So like he was embarrassed that it happened to him. And it was a man, you know?
Yeah.
So the second victim wasn't so fortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Johnny Altinger was 38 years old when he lost his life in Twitchell's garage. Thinking he was going on a date as well to meet a beautiful female, Johnny was smart, and before he left, he emailed all his friends the information, the directions, because he doesn't have an address on how to get to said place.
Please. Round of applause for Johnny.
Yes.
Y'all be safe out there.
He ultimately died from blood force trauma from a lead pipe. So he didn't let him get away. He wasn't like, he wasn't playing this time. Like, he was like, I'm just going to knock his butt out, you know? So he dismembered him.
Oh my God. Why?
And after his successful crime, Mark posted, quote, "Sacrifices to say that I crossed the line on Friday." Or did I say sacrifice?
Yeah, I understood what you were saying.
I got it on the mind. Sorry. Where am I?
Suffices.
Suffice. No, he literally just said suffice.
Oh, okay.
It is to say that I crossed the line on Friday. And I liked it.
This man got off from banging people with lead pipes.
Yeah. So he tried to cover his tracks by going on to Johnny's email. Okay. And saying, an extraordinary woman named Jen who offered him to take a long tropical vacation is why he is disappeared. He's leaving.
I I've watched a little bit too much of that ID channel to believe texts and emails like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was very out of character. All of the friends were very worried.
Yeah.
So
good on his friends for not being like, he's fine.
Yeah, they thought it was really odd, and a friend went to his place to check things out, and like things that were there, if he would have gone on a tropical vacation, was not taken. It was like he was coming back that night, like he was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
From his thing, they could tell that he hasn't been there. And so all these friends, they went to the police department and was like, okay, this is what we know. And this is not right. So the police, they were all over him. Okay. They went to the garage. There was fake blood everywhere. And he had a jug of fake blood. Okay.
For filming purposes.
Yes, for filming purposes. And a makeshift autopsy table. Okay. That he created. And said that it was from a film that they did. And so they pulled in these two actors that were in said film, and they said, we didn't use fake blood. And so they immediately knew, okay, our feeling about this guy is it's right. So they went and they tested said blood. It's real blood.
Oh, yes.
They went to his vehicle. They found evidence in the vehicle, like, DNA is gone so far.
Yeah.
So thank goodness this happened in this day and age. So they were able to, I kind of went off here. So they were able to get him on that.
Yeah.
So it was, in the garage had blood spatter everywhere. Like, he just left it. You know what I mean? Like, that's not...
He liked the mess.
Ugh, it was messy. So they found a diary on his computer.
Secrets.
And that really gave him away. So he had a file on his computer that was kind of like a diary. But it was SK Confessions. And they believe that that's serial killer confessions. But they don't really know. That's just
that adds up. Their interpretation.
He went into gruesome detail on what he did, how it made him feel, and everything. What he planned to do in the future. So he pulled the self-defense card very hard, and that did not go very well. The jury didn't buy it.
Not with the diary.
Right? And they found him guilty first-degree murder, and he got 25 years in prison.
Okay. You can't document your fantasies about murdering people and then after murdering someone go, oh no, self-defense.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna buy that.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So, but it, that's the gist of it. There's a lot of details, and I just kind of cut some of them out because there was a lot.
That was great. That made me sad for the one guy that didn't get away. Mr. Johnny.
The one guy.
Yeah, my story unfortunately has more sadness to it.
Okay.
But you know what that reminded me of? Oh my god, I am so sorry. I tried to avoid the mic. I hope that didn't blow anybody's ear holes out. That feels like a path that the 5-year-old from last week's story could potentially take if she so desired.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that gave me vibes.
Yeah. And like someone else that liked the show was talking to him, and they kind of had like a a back and forth relationship. Just talking over the internet because they were far, far away from each other.
Yes.
And he ended up messaging her and saying that, he did something but never shared, and she just kind of knew,
Yeah. So was she like a witness?
In the case, yeah, she was a witness in the case just by character and the conversations that they had.
Cool.
But he thought that she would, because she liked the character of Dexter Morgan so much, that she would be okay with the dark tendencies.
No. It's fun. It's all fun and games when it's fantasy and make-believe. But as soon as you come out that make-believe world and you start actually stabbing and dismembering people, yeah, I ain't about that.
No. No.
Okay. Well.
Next.
So I stuck with the OG slashers. Because you know how I like my OG slashers. OG. So we're familiar with Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. His mask was actually like a human face. You know, we're familiar with him.
Yeah.
Living in, I think the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah, well, of course, it's in the name. It took place in Texas. Okay.
It was like 1960s.
Take a
1970s.
small geography lesson. So the real life Texas Chainsaw Massacre took place in he was born in 1906. Yes, he was born in 1906. And the majority of the crime took place in the 40s.
Okay.
So Edward Theodore Gein.
Eddie!
Also known as the Butcher of Plainfield or the Plainfield Ghoul. He was, as I said, born in 1906 in Wisconsin. His father was a massive alcoholic, and his mother was rather extremely verbally abusive and used religion and her extreme love of God to support her abusive tendencies.
I think I know someone like that.
Yes. So through all of this, and also it was the early 1900s, so women really didn't work. So we're kind of going back to the males being the sole owners or supporters of the family. So because his dad was such a severe alcoholic, he wasn't able to hold down a job. So he kind of bounced between jobs a whole lot, and then suddenly he was offered this large acreage of a farm, 155 acres to be exact.
Oh man,
that's a big farm.
That's good.
In Plainfield, Wisconsin. So his dad was like, you know what? I've got all this land. Land like it is now was also very valuable back then. So he picked up his whole family and he moved them to Plainfield, Wisconsin, to the farm that he inherited. Now Ed has a brother. What was his brother's name? Henry. Yes, Henry. His brother's name was Henry. So Henry's going to come into play here in just a few minutes. So bear with me. But I wanted to make sure we knew that Eddie had a brother named Henry. So because Ed's mom was so abusive and controlling, she didn't let him have friends. Whenever he would try to come home with a friend, he would get chastised and the friend would be forced to leave. And he would never have the opportunity to create a friendship or a bond with anybody other than his mother.
That's really creepy.
She created a mother lover. So, not really. Not the way that you're thinking anyway.
Oh my gosh.
Not the way you're thinking.
Okay.
So, she would frequently preach about immortality and death. And his mom was also a very firm believer that women served one purpose in life, and that was to create children and serve the head of the household. And she also firmly believed that women were scandalous by nature and that they did nothing but deceive men. She, I'm assuming, even thought this about herself.
Probably.
Which is just horrific. Like,
yeah.
think better about yourselves. Come on.
She's probably what created.
Yeah.
Leatherface.
Yeah. This poor kid, he just wanted to be normal, and his mom said, "Nah, we good, boo." So through all of this, which if any of you have ever unfortunately been in that situation where you've experienced a lot of trauma, trauma works in really weird ways in our head. So Ed took this trauma and he transformed that into like an idolization of his mother. And his mom became like the one all, the give all. She can do no wrong. It does not matter. All the while, she's still verbally abusing him. She's still chastising him. He's still not allowed to have friends. She's kept him secluded from the world. But he turns this like fear and possibly hatred into like terrifying love for his mother.
Dude, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That just makes me so scared for certain people.
Yep. Yep.
Oh.
So in 1940,
okay.
We're going to fast forward a few years.
All right, here we go.
Ed's dad died. Heart failure.
Oh, no.
I think he was like 60-something, but also 60-something is a long time to live in the early 1900s when you live a hard life like that and when you're an alcoholic. So I'd say his dad lived a pretty long life.
Yeah, for sure.
At this point, Ed and Henry, his brother, had to kind of pick up the slack and start making some income for his mom. And themselves, of course, because now his dad is no longer around to do that. They began doing kind of odd jobs around town, and Henry started babysitting for a neighbor. Ed was there too, but Henry fell in love with this woman whose children he was babysitting.
Oh.
And decided he was going to marry her. She was a single mom, though. He was not a home wrecker. That was not a thing. Good. She was a single mama. He fell in love, decided to get married. Okay?
Okay.
Ed didn't like that.
Ooh, and the controlling.
On top of that, as Henry is falling deeper and deeper in love with this woman, he's starting to see, since, Henry is seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, he's starting to see the unhealthy obsession Ed has with his mom.
Okay.
And he tries to point that out. And I don't know if it was like Ed, my brother, this is scary, or if it was like hey buddy, maybe we should reconsider how much we're obsessing over mom. This is weird. Like, it doesn't really say how he handled that, but regardless of how he handled it, Ed did not appreciate it.
Yeah.
Ed thought he was attacking his mother, so he was very upset.
Absolutely. Sounds like it.
1944 rolls around.
Oh, no.
Henry dies.
Oh, no. Mysteriously?
Mysteriously.
Oh. He done did it.
So in 1944, Ed's out working on the farm.
Okay.
Tilling some land, clearing some brush. Oh, no. The property gets set on fire. Don't know how that happened. Ed claims it was an accident, but was it really?
Oh, my.
The way you said that.
Oh, my. Sorry.
Well, everything burns.
Including the crops?
Doesn't say. No. Just says a lot of things get burned.
You gotta be able to eat.
He doesn't care.
Obviously.
He's out for blood.
He blooded.
After the fire concludes, oh my God, there's Henry's body in the fire. So the cops come out. Ed calls the cops and he's like, hey, we just had this fire. My brother's laying out here in the field. He's dead. Like, we don't know what happened. Okay?
Of course you don't.
Of course we don't. Cops came out and, gather Henry's body and do a investigation.
Right.
Turns out Henry's probably been dead for a while. Henry probably did not pass in the fire, which could be okay because I don't imagine burning to death is very pleasant, but I also can't imagine getting murdered by your brother is very pleasant either.
Yeah. Oof.
There were bruises noted on Henry's head, but the police dismissed it as an accident.
Okay.
And the coroner labeled his death as an accidental asphyxiation.
No.
So, what I don't understand from this is how you can have bruising on the head. The police say, no big deal. And then note this as an accidental suffocation or strangulation or asphyxiation as they noted it. Where did the bruises on the head come from?
Well, you also have to think they did things a lot differently back then.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, they just lost everything. But they also lost so and so. So let's put it under the rug.
I mean, doesn't that still happen today?
Well, yeah, but it's verbalized. People fight that. Like, back then, they're just like, just leave it alone. Mm-hmm. Like, other people in the surrounding areas. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Now, somebody's like, nah, this isn't right.
This is weird.
Whether they get listened to
we got the internet
or not,
now.
Someone is saying something.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, who was going to say something? His mom?
Yeah.
No.
Like, and you have, like, what, 150 acres, did you say?
Yeah, 155.
Yeah. Who's around?
The crows.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. The crows aren't going to tell him. The crows can't speak.
Right.
So, it was later on decided that, yeah, Ed probably killed his brother, but we knew that. That wasn't a secret. The following year, 1945.
Sorry. I wanted to say if you could hear it.
I hope you choke on that.
I've got air in my lungs. Sorry.
I'm glad.
To disappoint.
I hate the sound of food chewing and water swallowing, and this woman does everything she can to irritate me on some days. Like swallowing directly into the mic. I hope that upset someone else as much as it upset me. I don't know why we're still friends.
Whatever. Because we're both stupid. Stupid fun. All right.
So 1945.
Okay.
Ed's mother has suffered 2 strokes.
Dang, is she still going?
Hold on, I'm not done with the story yet.
Hold on. Okay, go.
In December 1945, she did pass on.
Okay.
Maybe to see Jesus, maybe not. I don't know. I don't think Jesus would approve of the way she treated her children, if nothing else. So this was traumatic for Ed.
Absolutely. He idolized her.
Exactly. He lost his mother, his one and only. And after his mother's passing, Ed decided it would be a really good idea to board up her room and leave it in like a shrine type state.
Okay, so he literally left everything the same and boarded it up.
He boarded it up.
Dust would stay the same.
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
Everything would stay the same.
Okay.
Yes.
Makes sense. Not really.
During this time, while his mother's room was boarded up as a shrine, the rest of the house fell into disarray. At this time, Ed's the only one left because his dad died, he murdered his brother, and his mom passed on. So he's the only one left, and he's just kind of living in almost a rotting filth hole.
Okay.
Almost like that movie we watched. The Stephen King movie. The 1921 or whatever that was. Yeah, it was almost like that, where he just kind of like stopped taking care of everything else.
Yeah. Gross.
He finally met his demise in 1957. Demise. Because he decided he would go out and murder somebody.
Mm.
He took the life of Bernice Warden, which was a local general store owner. It was reported that he was the last person to see her alive. And when the police followed up and came to his house to be like, hey, we heard you were the last one to see her alive. Do you know anything? We're trying to find her. She's gone missing. Mm-hmm. Oh, they found her. They found Bernice. Trigger warning for anyone, because I'm going to get a little bit gruesome, okay? They found her strung up like a deer, decapitated. Mm. She was hung upside down, and her torso was dressed out like a deer. So you know when you go hunting and you string the deer up and you know get the guts out because we don't want the meat to go bad.
Yep, you have it.
That's what he had done to her, and he had also removed her head.
Okay.
Because I guess why do we need that? I don't know. So that's what ultimately got him caught. Now this man been messing for a few years before he actually got caught. Okay.
Okay.
He had also, where are we at?
Intermission,
apparently. Oh my goodness. Where did I put this other woman's name? Oh goodness, there we go. I am so sorry. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss her. So another individual that he had taken the life of, her name was Mary Hogan, and she was a local tavern owner. She went missing in 1954, and he had later admitted to being the one who caused her to go missing, essentially. So I'm not done with the gruesomeness yet. So when they got to his house and found her like that, they were like, Ed, this is messed up, my guy. Mm-hmm. What is happening?
Yeah.
They found a bunch of other stuff too.
Okay.
They didn't just find Bernice and Mary. They found a bunch of other things.
Okay.
And this is where we get into the Leatherface.
Okay, so another trigger warning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Turns out Ed was into grave robbing. Okay. So he admitted between 1947 and 1952 to making as many as 40 trips to 3 local cemeteries for grave robbing purposes.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. He said that he would come into like a trance-like state and show back up at home, come out of that trance-like state, and he'd have his what he considered souvenirs.
Okay. He
also
called them
said,
souvenirs?
Yes.
Oh.
He also said a few times that he would come out of this trance-like state when he was at the cemetery, and he would just kind of shake his head like cartoon style and go back home and not do anything.
Do you think his mom was possessing him?
No.
Maybe it was the devil.
Maybe it was Satan.
Maybe.
He specifically targeted graves for women who resembled his mother.
That's really creepy.
Mm-hmm.
That's really creepy.
So just to name a few things in here, I won't horrify anybody with the laundry list of things, but a few things they found. They found skulls on bedposts, skulls made into bones, a waste basket made of skin.
Okay, hold on. I'm stuck on the skulls made into bones.
Bowls.
Oh my gosh.
Skulls made into bowls, which I'm assuming he maybe ate or drank out of. I don't know.
Okay.
Waste baskets made of skin.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's sorry.
A, a belt made of nipples.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. A corset made of skin shaved from shoulder to waist. Mm-hmm.
So he was wearing it.
I'm not sure if he was wearing it, but they sure as heck found it. And if he's making it, why wouldn't he wear it?
Yeah, that's another thing. Was he trying to become his mother?
Oh, I'm getting
Oh, okay. Because we got a belt and a corset.
there. Yep.
Okay.
A pair of lips on a lampshade string. So you know those like old school lampshades where you would have the little pull down thing, or I guess you still kind of have them on like ceiling
Ceiling
fans.
fans.
Yeah, he just kind of attached a pair of lips onto the end of that.
Uh,
A lampshade made from a human face. And one of my personal favorites, I say this in a sarcastic way, um, leggings made from human skin.
so he was covered.
They found a lot more than that,
Ugh.
but this started to make my stomach hurt, so we moved on.
Yeah.
I moved on. I stopped writing things down.
So his house was accessorized. His wardrobe was
Yes.
accessorized
Mhm.
with
Mhm.
human skin and body parts.
Yes.
Okay.
So some people thought he was trying to make a bodysuit. I
Okay.
don't I don't know if he ever like properly admitted to that, but a lot of people speculate that he was, hence like the belt, and I think I think he had made a mask, but I didn't write that in here. The leggings, he's got all of the fixins to make a bodysuit.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
um he did admit to killing the two women, Mary and Bernice, because they resembled his mother. As for the grave robbings, it's just kind of assumed that he kind of followed the same mental path to figure out who he was going to rob. In 1957, he was deemed unfit to stand trial and placed in a psychiatric institution.
Hmm.
In 1968, which was, what is that, 11 years later, he was finally found fit to stand trial.
Oh.
But he was only convicted of the murder of Bernice. He was also deemed insane at the time of the murder. So he was found guilty of murdering Bernice, but they also said, well, you were like legally insane when you committed this murder.
Unstable.
Yes.
Okay.
He then returned back to the psychiatric institution where he stayed until he eventually passed in 1984.
So the only known victims are Bernice and Mary and possibly Henry.
Yeah, of the people that he took the life of, and then he just had a lot of
Robbing
grave robbing.
is okay. So I don't know if this was in your research. If you found, was he only taking parts or was he doing other things?
He said that he never did the other things that you were insinuating.
Okay, I just
He,
wanted to make sure that he was just taking
mhm.
pieces.
Assuming I can trust what I find on the internet.
Right.
I try my best, but
Right.
it can be deceptive. So yeah, based on what I was seeing, he did not.
Do such other immoral things.
Yes, he did not desecrate. Well, in that sense, he did
Right.
not.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Dang.
Okay, well, just so I know, editing me where to put the trigger warning ending right about here, my dude. You got this? Cool. I definitely, neither one of us want to throw anybody into any kind of like anxiety panic attack from what we talk about. And sometimes we will have more sensitive subjects like dismemberment. But don't worry, it'll get better as we go into the holidays.
Yeah, we won't be always talking about stuff like this.
Yes, it will get hopefully happier or at least more people who are still alive drama as opposed to death drama.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I have a secret topic, but my phone is over there, so I found it.
I'm so excited.
Okay. Here's my secret topic.
Time.
Okay. Girl, I don't even know how to get into this.
You're like building suspense, and
Okay.
I'm so excited.
So, what was one of your favorite cartoons as a child?
Oh goodness, what age bracket?
You still enjoy it now?
Do I still watch it to this day?
I don't think so.
Okay. Whale. The first one that comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was itty bitty.
Mm-mm. Okay, go ahead. Tell me.
Okay, so I watched a lot of Cartoon Network, like the OG 90s Kids Cartoon Network, like the good Cartoon Network.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I hope the rest of you are offended that watch it to this day because it's not as good. So like Courage the Cowardly Dog,
Mm-hmm.
Cat Dog, definitely watch Johnny Bravo, but I don't think we're talking about that asshole today.
It's Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, Simpsons is not on Nickelodeon.
Those are the good ones. So Cartoon Network is where it's at. But this is a Nickelodeon.
A cartoon?
Uh-huh.
Oh, you can hear my stomach squeaking now.
Ugh, we're hungry.
SpongeBob? How did I forget about SpongeBob? That was my whole life.
I know.
I just went straight to Cartoon Network.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I said it with a question, too. Wasn't sure about that. SpongeBob.
So, you know what a crab trap looks like?
Yes.
Okay. So, we're going to have to show a picture of the crab trap. And then
crab trap
of Krusty Krab.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I know where this is going.
So, the Krusty Krab is a crab trap.
Oh, yes.
'Tis a crab trap.
'Tis.
Have you seen any crabs in Bikini Bottom? Other than Mr. Krabs.
The one and the only.
The one and only.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Aside from Larry the Lobster, but Larry the Lobster is not a crab.
That's right.
He would not be fooled by a crab trap. Also, does he ever even really go to the Krusty Krab? Like, I know he's been there a couple of times, but it's very rare.
He has an acquired taste, I guess.
Well, he's buff. He can't be eating that junk food. I eat that junk food. I'm also not buff, so.
Hold on, I'm trying to find a specific. Pacific is an ocean, beach.
Is that where the Krusty Krab is?
What the heck? I swear I put it in here. Where is it at?
I almost started singing the SpongeBob theme song, and then I was like, we might get a strike for that. I don't guess I will.
We might. Okay, so I don't remember the name of the episode, but there is an episode. Okay, where Mr. Krabs goes out of town for a crab convention, and you see so many crabs. Those are the only crabs you will ever see, is when he is out of town. And then you go back to Bikini Bottom, and he is the only crab. Okay, the only crab.
Yes.
Now, in episode Life Crustacean, Mr. Krab is seen taking a bite of a Krabby Patty and saying, and I quote, so that's what I taste like.
So he be serving up crabs.
Oh, it was episode Cracked Crabs is when he went and visited the crab convention where all the crabs attended.
Do Do squids eat crabs? Is that a thing that like actually happens in nature?
Hold on. So,
I'm twitching. I'm like,
episode named Just One Bite.
yes, that's what I was talking about.
SpongeBob convinces Squidward to take a bite of a Krabby Patty.
Mm-hmm.
He was instantly hooked.
Oh yeah,
Hallucinating
loved it.
about Krabby Patties.
Yes,
And ate too many and ended up in the hospital.
yes, I remember this.
That goes into
Vividly.
the other theory
Mm-hmm.
of the Krabby Patty.
Okay.
So there's a ingredient in the Krabby Patty that is called Poseidon powder. If you look it up, Poseidon powder is cocaine. Okay. Hallucinations, ends up in the hospital, overdosing. But there is another episode here where it's called, episode The Great Patty Caper. And the Bikini Bottom residents suffer severe withdrawal.
Oh yes.
Because they're not getting their Krabby Patties. And they're just causing destruction and chaos. Because they're addicted from the Poseidon powder.
I have so many questions right now. I have so many questions.
Nickelodeon heard about these conspiracies.
Which are correct. They're not conspiracies.
And they posted the actual Krabby Patty recipe / formula.
Except for the secret ingredient.
Hold on.
I'm really invested in this right now.
Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. I gotta find where it is because I don't want to screw this up. Where is it? Nickelodeon. Okay, so they put that there's imitation crab meat in it, aka chum. So it's like ground up fish.
I know what chum is.
Okay. That brings us into the episode. Oh, where is it? I have so many things on here and they're all friend or foe. Mr. Krabs explains to SpongeBob him and Plankton were friends growing up. They were both outcasts and their favorite burger joint went out of business. They decided to make a burger. They got into a fight, ripping the piece of paper in half. Plankton's paper said a pinch of chum on it, aka the chum bucket. So that's where their friendship split.
Oh, yes.
And then, Mr. Crab, he launders money.
Yeah, he does.
He does all the things illegal. It makes you think, if there's either real crab or Poseidon powder in it, why do you think he has the secret ingredient? Because he will be in behind bars forever. Because if there's chum in it, he is feeding all of the fish themselves.
I mean,
so we have several different things. It could be crab,
or all of the above.
It could be chum. It could be Poseidon powder, aka cocaine, and
the white powder.
Yeah, it's like. So let me see if there's anything else.
So I have a question then.
Okay, what's your question?
I don't know how familiar you are with the Bob Sponge. There's also an episode where SpongeBob, or Mr. Krabs, has this great idea to improve the business by making pretty patties.
Okay.
This draws a massive crowd. And it's Krabby Patties, but they're colorful. So there's like red ones and purple ones and green ones and yellow ones and orange ones and all the colors of the rainbow, and they're called Pretty Patties.
Like different colors of pills?
I don't know.
We might need to have a trigger warning on this one, too.
I'm just saying. Mr. Krabs was sus to me as a kid because he was a money-hungry, terrible boss. Mm-hmm. Now Mr. Krabs is sus to me as an adult. Well, for the same reason as that, but also now because...
you can see things in a different light.
We're eating ourselves.
Yeah. And you also have to think, SpongeBob is wild. Mm-hmm. Like, he is always hyper. Mm-hmm. And he's constantly eating Krabby Patties.
That's why he sings to jellyfish.
Okay, so
and that's why Squidward's always so angry, because he doesn't eat Krabby Patties.
So I have another thing about Squidward and about Patrick. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Patrick literally lives under a rock, so.
Patrick is thought to possibly be a mad scientist that replaced his brain, put his brain the top of his head by some coral so it would be disguised, which is why he at times is like super smart for like a second and then the next he's like bah.
Because he has coral on his head, not his brain.
Yes, but one time SpongeBob, so his, starfish, they can grow back.
Starfish.
They can grow back. He like fell off a cliff or something. I don't remember exactly what happened. And the top of his head came off and there was coral. So SpongeBob grabbed it, put it on his head, and it like plugged in, and he was like instantly
intelligent AF.
Very, very intelligent, very hateful. And then later on in the episode, he was very upset because he's lost his friendship with his friend and he wanted his friendship. So he went and he got his
brain back.
His brain back. His
brain.
And it is... have you seen the fact that he has superhuman speed? He's super strong. Patrick. And like to the point where he picks up that rock like it's nothing.
He just like throws it up. He's like
he throws a train like it's nothing.
Oh yeah.
And then there's an episode where he's like Barnacle Boy. What was the other one?
Mermaid Man
and Barnacle Boy. People believe that he was a super villain because he has super strength. He has super super strength.
I'm into this.
Super speed. And every time Mermaid Man sees him, he says, "Evil."
He does.
Yeah. Every time. Every time.
And he just wanted a simple life, so he made himself stupid.
Yeah. And he wanted the friendship of SpongeBob. So
who's just a cracked out adolescent.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing too. He can also like super stretch. It was on one of the episodes where he was supposed to be a superhero. There is a video game.
The one where he's got them fishnets on?
No, they're not fishnets. No. It's like a stretch suit. Like it's like I don't remember the episode name.
Hold on. We're not talking about the same thing. I'm going to show you so you know, and then I can also share it on here as long as it's not copyright.
I remember the fishnets. But he's in like a blue suit.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Anyways, while you're looking up... oh, no. That's from the movie.
Oh.
That's from the movie. So there is a video game that is about Patrick Star.
Mm-hmm.
He's having a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
And in his nightmare, he is a superhero fighting a supervillain.
Is this a game we can find on Steam?
I'm not sure. It's old.
Okay. No, it wouldn't be this one then.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's old.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't remember the name. Oh my gosh. So essentially it was him, but he was fighting his evil self.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so much that makes sense in that video game. Mm-hmm. And another thing, people believe SpongeBob to be autistic.
Yeah, for sure. I can see that.
And the reason why Squidward sticks around, even though he annoys the crap out of him, it is believed that SpongeBob's parents are paying him to keep an eye on him because his parents wanted him to live independently. So that's why SpongeBob is there. They both have really, really nice houses. And they don't make crap from Krusty Krab.
Oh, no.
From Mr. Krab. They don't make nothing. But they both have, like, really nice houses. They have all the food they can want. They live very luxury lives in their homes. It is believed that, and in other episodes, like when SpongeBob went and visited his grandma, how did Squidward know his grandma?
So there's a SpongeBob train, right? Full of conspiracy theories. That's just chugging along. I feel like I just jumped in the depths of that.
You did.
Like, I just let that train run right over me.
You did. And then there's, like, other episodes that show, like, back in the day. So, like, the saloon era. Squidward is the bartender. And it shows, like, their families have always been connected in some way.
Makes you think.
Yeah. So that's all I've got for you, but I figured that the whole cannibal crab thing kind of went into the Ed.
So what I've learned now is that Plankton is the only real homie.
Yeah, and he wants he wants the Krabby Patty formula. That's all he wants. And he knows that his old buddy is doing some crooked shit.
Mr. Krabs is a mob boss. He's selling
body parts.
Body parts and cocaine-laced imitations.
Yep.
I don't know. That made my head explode.
Yeah.
I see all the connections.
All of it.
As a child, you just watch it. Even as an adult, you're just like, yeah, this is great. But then when someone points it out, you're like, oh.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, they were cooking with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, the whole thing with Squidward, I was like, holy crap, I didn't never realize
like,
that.
You never put that together.
Yeah. That was a surprise to me.
So something else I've learned?
Because everybody knows that Mr. Krab is crooked.
Well, yeah, clearly.
You know
like,
I mean?
everybody
he's knows,
crazy.
Like, he's crooked. He's always got some kind of scheme going on.
Yep. To make more money.
It's
penny pincher.
Surprising, but not super surprising.
Yeah.
But Squidward, you're just like, oh. So he's actually, like, doing something good, but he's also bought.
Well, I don't know about that completely, because there's an episode where Squidward got really upset because SpongeBob was so annoying. So he decided to move out to what it would essentially equate to like modern day suburbia. And out there in this modern day suburbia, it's just like rows and rows and rows of houses that look exactly like Squidward's. every single person that lives there, or I guess every single squid that lives there, looks exactly like Squidward. They all ride the same bike. They all play the clarinet. They're all exactly the same. And after a little bit of time of this, Squidward realized that he was bored and he actually missed SpongeBob. So there could definitely, I think there's some genuine feeling there. Some,
No,
like,
there is.
genuine concern.
You can see, like, times when, like, short periods of time when Squidward is genuinely enjoying SpongeBob. Like, there's a birthday party that SpongeBob had, and his family was there, but he was like, Squidward was like hanging out with SpongeBob's, oh my gosh, SpongeBob's parents. Like, he knew him, you know, and he was having a good time
because he's best friends with him.
Yeah,
he gets his paychecks.
Yeah,
gotta be nice to the boss.
But he has taken care of him. Like, you see him going in there and, like, flossing his teeth. Like, he's flossing SpongeBob's teeth and, like, doing small things. And that never clicked for me. But he goes there and he does it anyways. And SpongeBob is always on, you know, cocaine, so he's irritating.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my secret topic. I thought it was kind of out there.
I love it. I love it. That was great. I was not expecting that. Mine's not going to be that off the wall. Mine's going to be pretty on par. But I love it.
Awesome.
That was great.
Yeah.
The other thing I learned from that is it's better to be stupid and have a good friend than it is to be smart and be lonely. So don't forget that. Don't be an asshole to your friends.
Amen.
And also don't take asinine behavior from your friends. Know your worth. Preach.
Had learned that the hard way.
My little PSA there for the day.
Yeah, so I think that's it for today. But actually, no, it's not.
It's not?
No, it's not. No,
this is a surprise.
Tonight. It's Halloween.
Oh,
tonight we're gonna have a Halloween special. So be looking out for that
this evening. I don't know. It'll probably be, like, honestly an evening drop. So, like, somewhere around 8 o'clock. We'll keep y'all posted, though.
Yeah. It's gonna be great. It'll be great.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yes.
We gonna get our spooks on. Our spooks. Okay. So, yeah. We'll see you every Thursday, and we'll see you again tonight.
Yep. And as always, we always love to hear that bell ring. So if you like us, hit that like button. If you dislike it, we'd like to know why. And don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you guys technically in a few hours again.
Bye.
Bye.